Would you look at that mess right there? This is a 6.6 Duramax V8 turbo diesel. It's in a 2007 classic body style Silverado. This happens to be my personal vehicle for the new people that are here. We are in the midst of a fuel injector replacement job. This is the part 2 video on this particular repair. This is a billable job for about 12 hours and we got it halfway torn down yesterday. Today is the reassembly phase. We have all 8 injectors removed, all the top side engine accessories, wiring harnesses, coolant hoses, all that good stuff, AC system, that's all removed. That way we had the ability to access these injectors. The reason that we're here is this little guy right there. That's called the fuel rail pressure sensor. This is our common fuel rail. It feeds fuel to each of the injectors on this side of the engine. There is a similar fuel rail on the other side that feeds the injectors on that side of the engine. The ECM in this vehicle needs to know what the pressure is coming from the CP3 injection pump to these rails. If it does not know how much fuel pressure is in these rails, it cannot properly time the injectors and it cannot decide how much fuel to spray through those injectors with the injector pulse. So this sensor on the vehicle was intermittently dropping down to 0. We would be driving around, it would show 20,000 PSI, 9,000 PSI, 4,000 PSI, and then 0. You know, and all of those temperature or pressure ranges are accurate depending on load, but the drop out to 0 is a major problem. If that sensor were to completely fail, it will render the vehicle inoperable. So what we did is pulled everything down, got the fuel rails out of it. We also replaced a couple of the supply lines that go from the CP3 pump to the fuel rails. And at this point, we are now preparing and ready to get the actual injectors reinstalled. I have here a set of remanufactured fuel injectors for the LBZ Duramax. Got them from diesellogic.com. There's a bit of a backstory to what these injectors are doing here. I did a fuel injector job on another Duramax a few months ago, and I had some slightly disparaging comments that I made.
So basically what happened is, as I was removing a set of failed Diesel Logic injectors from another truck, I was running my mouth the entire video. They caught wind of it and were not very pleased to hear what I had to say, so they invited me to Jacksonville, Florida to visit their facility, and they gave me a set of injectors to try out and review.
And I really upset some people over at diesellogic.com. So they called me up and they're like, hey man, what's up with this axe you have to grind against us? And I said, well, nothing personal, but at the time your reputation was preceding you. And they said, well, I want you to put our product to the test. So they had donated to me a set of fuel injectors for this vehicle. So we're basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. I'm fixing my actual problem, and we're fixing it's kind of a problem, but not really a problem. But these original injectors here, these are 240,000 miles old, and they have been showing some signs of wear. So although it was not necessary, it wasn't critical to change these out, based on mileage and in prior use and age and some data that we checked, that we looked at on the previous vehicle, based on data from the previous video. There we go, double words. It's like word failure squared. But based on some data, we had decided that it was best to replace these injectors while this engine is in teardown phase. So we are picking up where we left off last night. I'm gonna go ahead and get these things installed. Now, one thing to know, these fuel injectors, they have, it's kind of like a fingerprint that will outline the spray pattern out of the nozzle down here. And that spray pattern has a characteristic unique to each individual injector. Well, the ECM in the vehicle needs to know what that characteristic is, and it displays that in the form of a multi-digit number. So what we have to do here, when these are all installed, I need to go into the vehicle's ECM with the scan tool and then write those numbers, those identifier numbers, to the ECM so it knows the characteristics of each injector so that it can fuel properly. And that's a very big deal. Okay, so I have all the injectors in place, ready to rock and roll. We've got some dielectric lubricant on the O-rings, so these are prepared to go in. Real quick though, let's go take a look at what Aaron's doing on this F450 over here. What you doing in there, buddy?
Well, I got the belt back on the rib.
Ah,
I was one rib off. And I
you're putting fuel pump in this, aren't you? Injection pump.
You mean a heart transplant?
Good googly moogly. Googly moogly. Okay, all right. Intermission over. Let's go ahead and get this rocking and rolling. So what I've done here, since each individual has its own IQA code, I used the serial numbers to index these based on cylinder. What do we got here? I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So the serial numbers ending in 1, 2, or 1, 3, 5, and 7, and 2, 4, 6, and 8. That way, in case I lose my paper where we have written down the IQAs, I can reference the boxes and we can cross match them with the chart. So we cannot lose the numbers, because those numbers are critical. And if you install these without the numbers, you need to take them back out and get the numbers. Let's get this this cap off our injector tip. These have to be nice and shiny and super clean. There are itty bitty, can't even see them barely by the naked eye. I know we're not going to be able to see them on camera, but there's little orifice holes at the tip around that little nipple thing sticking out, and that's where you get your conical spray pattern out of the injector. You can't see them, but they're in there. Really crazy thing to think about, and Aaron mentioned this the other day. Each of these injectors, by the time its life is over with, will have had tens of thousands of gallons of diesel that has flowed through it. And I think that's quite impressive, considering that there are holes in there that are not even visible, and I've made an error already. Pull this back out. You got to put the hold down in position first here. Come on, injector. So we need to drop all these in, get them bolted down, plugged in, and then we will put the fuel lines on these injecting units. So what I'm going to do, we're going to film this side over here, and then I'm going to go over there to that side and just drop them all in. That way we can continue with haste and kind of make some progress through this video, so we're not watching like a 5-hour video putting in fuel injectors. Sound like a plan? I think so. Okay, cylinder number 4. That was cylinder 2 over there. They go again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one right here is 4. The hold down is in my hand. Give it a twist and a push. This is the one that did not want to come out earlier. There we go. It's in. Looking good. Bolt coming in. Now, I mentioned in the other video that I had replacement hold down bolts. The problem is they're the wrong ones, so I'm reusing these ones. Cylinder injector number 6. Drop you down. Push. O-ring has seated. Bolt again. A little dark in there. Need another flashlight. I cannot see what I'm trying to see. Okay, this here is the hard one. We're going for number 8, the Ocho. What I need to do is slip it in halfway and then reach around and then set up the hold down clamp. I think I'll try to go in through the fender well down there. Oh, let's see. Reaching in through the hole here. Where's that injector? It's way out back. There we are. Good you. I gotta pull it out some. It's in too deep. There we go. That was it. Oh, by the way, if I'm sounding kind of hoarse today, I appear to be under a slight influence of an ailment of some sort. Nothing major, I don't think, but I'm not really feeling super hot. Okay, that one's in. Okay, got a socket coming in here. We're gonna start running the threads down on these clamps. Just like I had stated earlier, I was gonna put the other side in when you guys weren't looking, and they're in. So we're gonna run all these guys down and get them clamped and torqued and all that good stuff. too much, but it's okay. Oh, that one back there, that was a tough one. I recall. There. Good. And then one more. You'll notice I'm keeping the caps on those fuel inlet ports, because if you get dirt in there, even a little micron of dirt, it's going to ruin something. The tolerances in these injectors are so incredibly small that they do not forgive contamination. And that is why your fuel filters are so critically important. All right, we're looking for 22 foot-pounds of torque on the digital one. My mechanical 3/8 torque wrench isn't very accurate down at the low range, so we're gonna go ahead and just do this with the digital one. And the 1/4 inch is not going to scale up to 22 pounds. That's 20, 21, 22. Give it a reset. $21, $22. There we go. And the one out back. She's down there too. That one's tough to, real tough to see. Come on. There it is. Got her. All right, that side's torqued. Let me run over and torque that other side real quick, and we'll move on to the fuel lines. However, we need to put the replacement return line for all the injectors back in position before I put the fuel supply lines on. So what this line does is any excess fuel that's in these injectors, it will be, it'll come out through this line, and then it just returns to the system. So we just need to take this guy and run it down to each injector and snap these little units in position here. Okay, there's one over here on this side. And again, I taking great caution, or taking precaution to make sure that these things stay clean and we don't introduce contaminants. Taking great care, that's what I was trying to say. Told you guys I wasn't feeling too hot. Anyway, here's our rear one. Right there, rear return line. And then need to hook this section. There you go, you can see. This section of the tube has got to plug into that metal line that was in the back. Y'all can't see it. I can feel it, so we're just gonna kind of shove it in there and call it good. That would be the plan. There we go, she's in. And I need to grab the return line assembly for the passenger side next. All right, let's start breaking the seals here. And we're gonna get these lines in position and tighten down. Now, these guys will not remain open to atmosphere for more than a couple seconds, because cleanliness is very important. You know what else is important? Grabbing the right line here. That's not okay. Silly Ray, I grabbed the one in the back. The one that I had goes on cylinder 8. This one is for number 1. Thread it in. Make sure everybody's lined up. This is critical. We don't want to cross thread fuel injectors because they're expensive. We'll run them down by hand and then apply torque with the ratchet. No power tools here. Not possible. we go. Good, good. Let's apply some torquage. You got to make sure on these types of tools that the edge of this tool doesn't dig into the line and bend it. If you bend the line, its structural integrity will be compromised. There we go. Okay, next victim, that's cylinder 4. Very nice. Thread them down. That was good. I'm going to torque these later. We're basically looking at the procedure right here, make them all tight. So we're gonna skip the torque wrench scene to save us some time. That way we won't be here all day kind of staring at this engine. There's a cap on cylinder 6. The fuel cap on the rail on cylinder 6. Move that bracket out of the way some. Here's our line for number 6. I always like to thread the one on the injector first if possible, because that one tends to, or appears to be, the harder to reach one. It's more confined, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes these don't always fit super perfect. There.
Is that the oranges I smell?
Yes, you are smelling the oranges from Tropicana. Yeah, it kind of stinks, doesn't it? But they are incinerating them. The Tropicana orange juice facility is right next to me, and they are burning their orange peels. I think that's what the smell is. That's what I've understood. I could be wrong though. You never know. Okay, we're getting tight. It's good. Clickage. Next unit. There we go. Let's get this one tight. A little bit more. All right, that's 3 complete. Okay, so this one way out back, that's gonna be a real bear for us to reach and see. So I may just skip past that rear one. Let's just see how well this one's gonna go together. If it's gonna give me some guff, we're skipping. And if it's not gonna give guff, then we're just gonna proceed as we have been proceeding. Yep, injector on first. Fuel rail on next. Yep, everybody slid right in. Just like what we want. Okay, torquage action coming in. Let's get them tight. Flangey power for the win. So after I get this fuel line on, we can get the glow plug control module reinstalled, and then there's some more plumbing and piping and hoses and whatnot. I also may decide to skip past the hoses because it's quite boring and meticulous. And frankly, guys, I don't feel good, so I just don't have the energy. I'm just not in the mood. Not in the mood. I wish I were in the mood, but it's just not the situation here. Very unfortunate. fuel line's in the way of my socket. There. Click. There we go. Okay, so while we're here in this general area, I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the fuel lines, get these guys snapped back into their little home here, and then I can secure the brackets that hold all this in position. I need to move the cable. This has to route under these lines here, bear with me. Get in there, cable connector. There. That's gonna hang out in there like so and plug into the module. So we can plug this guy in. Come on, snap in please. Snap in all the way. There we go. And then of course our little retainer clips need to go in. That one there. And where's that other one? I lost one. Oh no. Okay, fuel lines are secured. Good. There are two 12mm nuts that are gonna hold the line clamps and the wiring harness clamps down. There's one right there. Second one right here. Oh, that's a 13. I grabbed the wrong fastener. That's okay. I can trade it out. Yeah, there's my 12. Harness clickage. Beautiful. Alrighty, our glow plug control module is coming in. That's gonna go to its bracket. Two 10mm bolts to hold her down. Get that one right there. Then we'll get it all plugged in. Where's that other 10? Very good. Okay, this is the power wire that supplies all the current to the glow plug control module. Let's get this guy out. We're in and out. Let's see, faces, what way does this point? That way. And then this side goes that way, so it's gonna go like so. So I believe I should plug in this connector first. Secure and secure. Good to go. Love it. Okay, that guy's secure. There's a connector here. I need to figure out where that, there she is. This is the connector that plugs into that little sensor down there. Let's get you lined up. Tight squeezes in here, guys. Not a lot of space for anything, really. That harness secures there. That's good. Okie dokes. Now for the part that nobody wants to see, the EGR valve going back in. Get this guy lined up with the studs out back. There's a exhaust pipe that comes up from one of the manifolds. There we go. That's in its home. There's the coolant line for it. Set this thing down in its position down there and get her bolted in next. All right, bolts. So we got the big one that goes out back. That one drops down. Two smaller ones up in the front here to secure the front side of the EGR assembly. And then there are the two nuts on the back side of it to bolt the valve to the exhaust flange that's back there. So let's get those guys in position here. Squeakity squeak. There's a gasket. There's another gasket. Put those guys right there. Good. Let's get these guys tight to the proper clicked specification. Ruh-roh. I seem to have a light malfunctioning. I also seem to have a brain malfunctioning because these are 14 millimeter bolts, not 15. So yeah, that's needs to be adjusted appropriately. Oh, come on, you. Open end, I don't even care. Come here. Got it. I need to start getting some larger components sort of plugged in here and in place. So let's go ahead and maneuver in the coolant tube and the thermostat housing. We'll get this guy in position here. And it's gonna bolt down 4 bolts here and then 2 on this bracket right over here. Okay, bracket bolts coming in first. I got one right here and then the other one is on the right. I actually had to take these wire harness connectors loose to be able to reach back in there and get that second bracket bolt in position. I should have put this hose on before I put this bracket on over here. So here, we'll take that one out again, put the bolt in where it goes, right there. That's what's up. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna bolt the thermostat housing down because that needs to be more of a precise fit than here. And then once that's down, I can put this, gravity, I'm gonna put this bracket back in. Okay, housing of the thermostat. That guy goes right there. This also serves as the bracket for the fan shroud right here and the oil fill tube. So that thing has to be there. We must not omit. Come on, thread in there. What are you doing? It's not lining up. There. Got it. Okay, one more right here up in the front. We'll get you threaded in. Excellent. One more on the other side. You know, you may ask yourself, why are there so many brackets and mounts and things to secure components? And that is because diesels have a tendency to be vibrating engines. They like to vibrate. And so we don't want these components moving around as it vibrates, potentially placing them in positions that could cause damage. So we load up the bracketry, keep everything secure so it can't flop around, and move on with our lives, I guess. Yeah, just more brackets. I told you guys I'm kind of sick, so I'm by no means functioning at any level of capacity today. So 13. I pulled the wrong fastener again. Let's put the connectors back. These are the engine's main harness connectors right here. The 32 pin, I think, and a 28 pin. There we go. This is all good and in position. I like it. Okay, we're looking pretty good on this side, I think. Let's go ahead and move over to the passenger side. I want to get the fuel filter housing installed because when I put the intake on, it's going to block some of these hoses. So I want to get this thing in position right now, so it's not going to be a problem later on. So there's 3 bolts for this this housing assembly. 2 longer, bigger ones up here on the top, and then 1 right down on the side there. One goes there. And the shorty. Nope, that's too short. That one's too short. I guess it's 3 long ones. I have made an error. Regardless, those are my fasteners. Let's get these guys tightened, and then we will plug in the fuel lines. There. Okay, so right down below us, here's the 2 outlet lines from the fuel filter assembly. I'm gonna plug these guys back in here and here. There, beautiful. We've got a bracket right here that I just slipped in when you weren't looking. Bolt that guy down. This one serves as a wiring harness bracket, and it serves as the bracket for the engine oil dipstick tube. So this one is actually quite important. Pick. There we go. And then the fastener for that dipstick tube that comes up from the bottom. That's the wrong one right there. This is the right one right here. Just tighten that guy up, and that will secure the dipstick so it can't flop around and break off. There. Now the fun part is putting some torque on that from the top down or whatever. Can't really fit. Oop. Well, I ran it down. I'll get it with a wrench or a ratchet. We'll just get it with a ratchet. Yeah, slippage. It's tight though. I'm good with that. Okay. Oh yeah, fuel line clamps. My head hurts from thinking if we don't clamp them, they will suck air, and it will leave the fuel pump living a short life, because air is not a very good lubricant, and diesel fuel systems use the actual fuel as their lubricants because it's oil. Okay, there's 1 nut to secure this electrical or heater core hose right here. Electrical. Oh, not doing okay in my head. Yeah, let's just try a wrench or a hammer. I can call it whatever I want. Borderline delirium here. Words mean nothing when you are delirious. And that's a factual statement in my guesstimation. There we go. Tight. Okay, coming in next, we've got the intake horn, which plugs into the turbo, and that also houses the PCV hoses, which go into each valve cover, left side and right side.
All right, I started losing energy very quickly at this point. I actually sat in the office for the remainder of the afternoon. After I got home that evening, I started getting very sick, in which I was out of commission for almost 10 days.
All right, well, it's 10 days later and the Silverado's still here. I did not intend to take this long to do this. Many of you know that I got pretty sick, and this personal project, which is supposed to have taken 1.5 days, has now taken like 1.5 months. And I've had to just walk away from it because I wasn't well. So I'm kind of back. It's my second day back in the office, so to speak. And I want to go ahead and start playing catch up with all the stuff that I'm behind on, like some cleanliness and some healthiness and some fix this truckness. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and start slapping the rest of this thing back together. We've got like just the intake horn, the grid heater in the other section of the intake. There's a few connections, the alternators, the belt, and I think, and you know, a few wires here and there. And I think that's pretty much it for all the assembly on this thing. So let's get all the knick-knacky stuff done and out of the way ASAP, and then we can go inside, program these new injector codes, and then we're gonna get this thing back out of the road and out of the shop. Now, this intake horn here houses the PCV hoses, which need to be bolted on at their respective valve covers. So we've got one bolt in right there at the cover. Let's get that guy turned on. And one more similar bolt on the other side. A little dark in there, but you see the connection coming in. There's our 10. Bolt this guy down. Oh, my flashlight, one of my lights died. That's what's going on here. I'm low on luminaries. Come on, PCV. Okay, intakes and PCV connections are mounted. Let's go ahead and get the grid heater and the rest of the intake system bolted back in position right here. You know, I think I went outside of the appropriate order of operations, and I have this wire harness here more secured than it should be. I recall having to have this thing pulled back in order to gain the space to slip this intake in. I think what I'm gonna do, instead of unbolting everything and undoing my error, I'm just gonna pull the studs out of this thing, and we're gonna try to slip that thing in with no studs. And I'll put the studs back. That may not be ideal because now the gaskets have nothing to locate them, but I don't want to take apart half the stuff that I already put back together. So I'm just gonna do it this way. I think I can manage this. Don't drop that stud into the Y bridge, Ray, or we're taking the Y bridge off. That would not be okay. Okay, so just need to hold that up, slip this thing down in there. That's where she goes, yes. Yep, this is gonna work. Okay. Let's get a couple studs in to locate the gaskets again so they can't fly out of there. Or fall out of there. Or fly and fall. Isn't that what flying is? Like, just controlled falling? You're always falling, just in a horizontal fashion? Right? Yeah, no? Too much? Too much conceptual mind warpage for the day? All right, you guys win. I won't do any noodle cooking questions today. Here's another stud going around the back. You guys can't see, but it's back over here. And then fourth stud, that one came out up front here. There. Okay, that fourth stud's in. There's a nut that'll secure the front or a partial, or a piece, or some of this intake. I think that nut's gonna run in right here. This next one. There she goes. Oh yeah. We're in the home stretch now, folks. Couple nuts. Couple on the back side. More in business. Give it back, my socket. Uh-oh, I'm short a nut. Where did it go? Click, there we go. Okay, this guy, that's our grid heater that's in. This thing gets bolted on the harness. Bolts on, I believe, here. Connector connected. Control connector for the grid heater connected. That's all good. A bit of torque on that bolt. Clickage. I think now we're good to get the alternators and the AC compressor installed. Yay! Alrighty, here comes our big boy 270 amp alternator. You'll notice I've done a pulley change on these. I mentioned when I installed these dual alternators and then I added this high performance alternator, or high output alternator, I had them overdriven, and with the addition of this particular alternator, I no longer needed to run an overdrive system on them, meaning I had smaller pulleys on the naders so they would turn faster at lower speed. Now that I've got this ultra high capacity unit, I was able to slow down the shaft speed, so I've done a pulley change on both of the alternators. The other one is still slightly overdriven, but nowhere near the ratio that it used to be at. 2 bolts. Come on now. There we go. Trying to get all the little holes lined up. Nader clickage times 2. Beautiful. Okay, let's move over around the other side. We'll get the AC compressor in and then the second nader right after that. Let's fly this compressor in back into its home. The bolts are all hanging out right here on top of the unit. Get those guys started. Good. Let's lay the harness over. And we've got a couple connectors to begin connecting here. Right there on the compressor. This one, I don't remember where that one goes. Uh-oh. Oh, you know what? That one goes to a fitting on one of the AC compressor lines. We'll get that thing in a moment when the line's ready to go back in. That's going to be one of the last things that need to be connected. Yeah, no worries. My memory is returning, along with various other bodily functions that well, ceased to function during my illness. It's incredible how many things stop working when you're sick. There's like so much stuff that just shuts down and it no longer functions. And you don't notice until like after you heal and you're like, hey, how come this bodily function here is not working properly? Well, it's because it turned off to save your life. Next alternator, second unit. Here, this is bothering me. These were fine over on the shelf, but now that it's exposed, that bothers me. Okay, second alternator bracket. Slide that thing in. Let's go ahead and get it started. Check the fasteners back. Secondary charging unit coming into the hole here. Slide you in. Come on, you stupid thing. See a little adjuster down there. It's not, it's too far in and it's squeezing on the tabs on the nader. So I need to adjust it out. I'll just put a bolt on it and a wrench and a spacer. And that's gonna pull that little pin out of this tab right here. Just a little bit, we just need to move it some. Ding. There we go, that's all we needed. The tab has moved. See what I did? Used the nut and a bolt and a washer to pull on that little tab business, or that little insert business from the back side, and I used the wrench for something to give some space and to allow that thing to move in somewhere. So now we've pulled that out, created more space. That's gonna let the alternator drop right down and be easily manipulated. That's the problem here. Had to move it around. There. Now we're cooking. Go. Rock solid, good to go. Okay, so next up I'm gonna get the AC lines reconnected, and then while the AC machine is recovering refrigerant, I'll get the belt back on and I'll hook up the batteries and whatnot, because we're almost ready to fire this thing back up. Okay, 2 more bolts coming in. There's that last connector we were talking about earlier.
that has been found out.
Second bolt clickage. Alrighty, AC machine has been pulled over. She's fired up. We're gonna put this thing into a vacuum for, let's call it 35 minutes. It's been open atmosphere for a week, so I'm sure that there has been some moisture saturation within the system. So we're just gonna let it vacuum till its heart's content, and then we can add our 1.6 pounds of refrigerant. And again, in the meantime, I need to throw this belt on right here. We'll get the Banks intake put back on. I gotta throw some coolant in it, hook the batteries back up, and we're ready to hit the key and see if this thing's gonna fire up. Fingers crossed. After all this work, it better be right. Definitely in the home stretch. Got the plastic shroud coming in for the radiator. We're gonna drop this guy into place. We've got to connect the transmission control module down here to this connector, which lives right here on the shroud. The AC machine is evacuating, and I've just got both of the batteries reconnected. So we are definitely in the home stretch section right here, folks. Okay, here's our transmission control module. Let's go ahead and get this guy reconnected. Slip it into its bracket here on the housing. How did that thing go? It's been far too long. This kind of snaps in, I think. Yeah, right there, that's good. Then there's a push pin here and here. Here and here, there you go, to secure it. But I only seem to have one of the push pins. I'll have to get one out of the generic stock box of miscellaneous hardware-like items. Replace it. There we go, that one's there. The shroud's in position. There's gonna be 2 fasteners for the shroud, and then a couple push pins at the bottom. There's one of them right here. There we go, good. It's our upper hose. Right there, so everything's closed up, secure. I need to do 1 more push pin and 2 more bolts here and over there on the shroud, and then we've got to head inside and start programming. Okay, I believe vacuum is complete. Our 35 minutes is up. We're gonna go ahead and charge this thing. Yeah, it's holding good vacuum. We're gonna give it a charge. It's I believe 1.6 pounds if memory serves. We've charged this truck 100 billion times on this channel over the past couple of years. 0.16 pounds of refrigerant, high side charge. Send it. Begin sending charge now. Waiting. Cool, there she goes. Charge is headed in, bolted on. Looking good here. Let's head inside and begin programming. Oh, hello interior. All right, we're going key on. Nothing's running yet. Banks gauges are not gonna power on because I've got the scan tool connected and the Banks units are not connected at this time, but we'll check that in a minute. Let's pulling this thing up here. We are in the ECM already. We're gonna go ahead and go into, I believe, module setup. And I would like to find, there we go, reprogram injector flow rate. Okay, we are in the injector flow rate menu. What we're seeing here, it says if the number of injectors consists if the number of the injector consists of fewer than 16 digits, make sure to enter trailing zeros since the total number of characteristics must be 16. So each digit needs to be 16. If we have a flow rate number that is less than 16 digits, we add trailing zeros. So let's count these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like we're gonna be looking for 2 trailing zeros on each one of these. Anyway, going into with the scan tool, we've got our current IQAs, injector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. See if you guys can see all those. Those are the individual flow rates from the stock injectors. And we need to program these guys out and install the new flow rates. So we're gonna start with injector 1. Now injector 1, according to my serial numbers and my positioning, is serial number 1341. So we need to go ahead and enter the code under 1341 into cylinder 1. And we're gonna have here, this is gonna take a while, but we're looking for echo, echo, 0, foxtrot, 0, 0, echo, and then the rest are trailing zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Enter. That is our flow rate, and we have an asterisk here. 1, 2, 3, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that is correct. 16 digits. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 digits. Enter. Enter. And program. Request out of range. What is this? Program again. Injector flow rate was successfully programmed. Do I need to program another injector? Yes. Okay, we are now in fuel injector number 2. So let's get this guy programmed. Our IQA is going to be FFC. That's Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Charlie. Zero, echo, 0, 3, followed by the remainder in zeros. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And OK. Confirming values. Confirmed. Program. Program was successful. Let's program number 3. And we're going to go on and on and on down the list. All 8 injectors. I'll be right back when it's time to hit the key and restart the engine. Okay, I've got all 8 injectors programmed. So I backed out. Let's go back in and just verify each IQA has been updated and has been changed. So we're going to go ahead and key this thing off and shut it down. Need to back out, and I think it's time to go ahead and hit the key and fire this thing up. Now, I do not have coolant in there at the moment. That's going to be fine. I need to just make sure that my lift pump has the fuse back in it. I don't want to pump fuel for no reason. So let's go ahead and get the lift pump refused and powered back on, and then we're ready to fire this thing up and see how she's gonna run. Okay, lift pump fuse. It's a Chinesium fuse too. Feels very plasticky. Let's get that guy in. And I'll rekey it on, and we should hear the lift pump down below on the frame fire up.
Oh yeah, there she goes, she's running.
Okay, let's go check under the hood. Make sure we're not dumping fluid out everywhere. I see no leakages. The AC machine has also finished. I believe we got 1.6 pounds. Everybody's connected. Guys, moment of truth. I'm nervous. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. Oh well, let's see what happens. It's either gonna work or it's not, right? So let's get over ourselves and fire this thing up. Ding. Let's try it again. Let's get some throttle. She does not want to run. What is problem? Let's get more cranking power out of it. Running smooth. Oh man, okay, she's running really nice. Very smooth. We're not chooching any smoke out of the pipe. This is good. Let's give us the throttle. Throttle's up. Okay. Tell you what, I'm gonna let it idle here for a little while. I'm gonna go grab some coolant in the jug, refill this engine coolant real quick, and then we can start checking some data. All right, it's been a few minutes, probably about 30 to be exact. Temp's still hovering about mid-range right there. I had it shut off and I had it run back up again. We ended up putting in about 3 gallons of coolant. Wheels are on. Idle's very stable. She's almost ready to rock and roll, so we're cleaned up. The path is ready. All right, coming back in to check some data. FRP looks good. Temps look good. Oil pressures all look good. Oh, let's see here. I want to go ahead. Let's pull the scan tool back out, plug her back in, power her back up, and we need to take a look at the idle trim adjustments. If you recall, when we got started, there was quite a spread on the idle trims. One of the injectors was like -4, one was +4. There was 3s, 2s, +2s, -2s. There was a lot of adjustment trim specs on these injectors on the original set over there on the bench. So what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and pull this thing out, because we're filling the shop with diesel smoke, or diesel exhaust rather. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this unit out, and then we're gonna pull up the engine idle adjustments one more time, and we're gonna take a look and see how close to 0 they all are with this new set of Diesel Logic injectors. Looking good on the rear, looking good up front. Oh, I'm running over my lawn chair. It'll be all right.
And there's a box in here, but that doesn't matter.
Can I run the box over? I'm going to.
You'll help crush it. So
Hey, as long as I can get past that corner of death there, we're good. And I'm out. Yeah, we're free. We made it.
Yeah, run the box over.
Yeah, buddy. Jai box. I killed it. Ha ha ha. Let's go ahead and turn on my high idle. One thing I noticed when I was in high idle mode previously is that I would feel kind of a shudder or a misfire, and I'm feeling a smoother idle at this time already, so that's good. Let's go ahead and find the data to collaborate my claims, and then we can take this thing out on the road, see how much horsepower it makes. Okay, we're in engine data, and I think think engine data 1 is going to tell us what the idle balance rates were, if memory serves, and it does not. So I'm going to back out of here and find balance rates. Where are you, injector adjustment rates? Now these are not the same as the flow rates that we had just programmed into the ECM for the injectors. Those are to tell the ECM the what do you want to call it? Those will tell the ECM the fingerprint of the flow, or the characteristics of the injectors themselves. So anyway, we've got balance rates, cylinders 1 through 8 pulled up, and what we need to do is have our engine at operating temperature. We're close, foot on the brake, vehicle in gear, and take a look at our balance rates right here. Cylinder 1 got a value of 1, cylinder 2 also a value of 1, cylinder 3 -1, cylinder 4 balanced up to 0, 5 is a 1, 6 is a -1, 7's the worst out of all of them with a -2, and that's not bad at all, and number 8 with a balance rate of 1. So we have a total of 3 millimeters cubed of fuel delivery balance rate discrepancy at idle. So these injectors are far better than the ones that we had just pulled out of the vehicle. Let's go ahead, power the scan tool down. That way I can power the Banks gauges back up. And we're gonna take this out on the road real quick, like. Wake up, Banks gauges. But we're not going anywhere with the hood open. So I think a good once around the block, up and over the bridge, and this operation will be complete. .4300 PSI at idle, that's good fuel rate for fuel pressure. Throttle's nice and responsive. Let me turn down my tuner. There we go. Yeah, the tuner turned up to like level 4. I'm gonna back that down for now. Beautiful. 17, 20, 21, 23. Yeah, it makes some pressure now. You guys see that? That was looking great. I like it. So it runs well, it idles well. That new set of injectors at 236,828 miles was definitely what the doctor ordered, I'd say. Here, let's turn up some tuner real quick. We'll run level 3. See if I can't roll into some full throttle over here coming up the bridge. Low coolant level, pish posh. Yep, she chooches just fine. I like it. Beautiful. Super duper nice. All right, guys, well, I have nothing more to offer on this particular video. I'm headed back to the shop. I'm gonna go check my little coolant warning indicator and just make sure there's no bubbles inside of the reservoir little sensor dealio under the hood there. And I'm gonna go ahead and call this one good. This is a super long video. The first version of this was also a super long video, so I appreciate you guys being here all the way to the end. I hope, in fact, since you are here to the end, that you liked this video. And if you did like this video, please feel free to communicate that to me effectively by tapping that like button down below. Consider that subscribe button while you're down there if you have not already subscribed to the channel. And before I go, I'd like to remind each and every one of you guys to not forget to have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later. Into this video, into this project, in a fuel injector job, end of diesel logic injector review part 1. Actually, this is install part 2, but I'll do a follow-up talk about these injectors later on after I get to tow with them. So I will, I'll touch base on the DLs one more time. But again, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Say hi, Dave. There he is. And we will see you guys on the next one.
in a video, in a transmission. End of arduous fuel injector job.